Hello, I'm Dr. Glenn Shepard, and this is the first in the series of videos on finding joy. This is part one, and there will be several other videos on finding joy because this is part of the three main goals or basics of life that I've been espousing: freedom, love, and joy. I've written a book, Transformation in Human Consciousness by Design, describing why in freedom, love, and joy is so important and how we should integrate that into our school system and our society at large. And if you haven't already, you should see my video, Joy in Evolution, and it will discuss more about the needs and reasons that joy is so important. Okay. So in this series of videos, I want to examine how you find joy for yourself. Okay. Not just general or whatever, but, how do you find joy? Okay. And how do you make it part of your life and why it's important? Okay. And so that's the first thing is what is the importance of joy? This one seems to be kind of self-evident. Freedom, if you look at freedom and love, there's a lot of reasons they're very important. Joy is kind of like be happy, how do you need to understand that, importance? Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants a happy life, right? And that's it is a goal of life, is to be happy, And so those three things go together: freedom, love, and then joy. If you have freedom and you choose love, I'm sorry, and then you'll, of course, need to want to choose joy if you want to be happy, But how do you maintain that happiness? Because this is just some of the issues we're going to be exploring here. But what makes you happy? Okay, what makes you personally happy? Okay, that's something we have to look at. You go to on vacation, and have a great time. You're happy, and you maybe go over to your family and your friends, and you giggle and have a good time. There's a lot of things you can do. Thanksgiving or holiday, big meals, get-togethers, 4th of July, cookouts, or just things that go for a walk with in nature or whatever. There's a lot of things that make you happy, and so these are things that make you personally happy. That's the main thing. Okay, we're talking about. If you want to find your joy, then you have to look at yourself. Okay, what makes you happy? Okay, so now you also need to look at, of course, what makes you unhappy. Why are you sad and depressed? Is it because of the chores? Like having to take out the trash and do the dishes and make the dinner, or do the laundry, and all these things that just get you down. It's life drudgery, whatever. Or maybe you're hungry. You get hungry and you're not happy. Or you get hurt and you're in a lot of pain. There's a lot of ways to have pain, of accidents or people in chronic pain. Constantly, and it's hard to be happy. There's a lot of a lot of things that sort of drag you down. I mean, it's like you want to be happy, you want to maintain those, big woo-woos, being happy all the time. But there's too many things in life is pretty boring. Really think about as far as are the chores and the pain and your aches in your body and your upset relationships. I mean, your jobs could get you down. I mean, there's just so many different things and financial problems, on and on. There's a lot of things that make you happy and, make you unhappy. And so, that's what we're looking at. How do you even maintain much happiness in a world that you may feel is just totally sad, depressing, okay, all the time? Maybe you feel like your whole life there's hardly anything happy about it, and how do you find any joy? Okay. Well, one question you need to ask yourself simply is are you afraid to be happy? Sometimes I feel like I am. I've been pointing to my life where I'm afraid that something good happens to me. Well, something bad's going to happen, next, right? Because you're just not going to last. You're going to end up disaster coming. So you almost don't want to get too happy. You know what I mean? It's almost like maybe it's a bad sign or a taboo or type thing, and so I don't want to do that. So the thing is, you might not even think you deserve to be happy. Do you believe you deserve happiness? And do you really want to be happy? I think you really want to be happy, but some people, sometimes they get so depressed they're not even sure they even care, get to that point. And because it's all in your head, you can't run away from something that's in your head, and you get these negative feelings, very depressive feelings of your life, and it can be very real. I mean, it's not like you're making things up. You could be in a lot of pain and a lot of terrible things happening to you. I don't say you're making things up, but the idea of happiness and joy is a state of mind. Okay, so even in bad times, I mean, heard of people who've been in prisons and concentration camps or something, in pretty horrible situations, who have maintained some sense of, let's say, joy in a way. I mean, it's not, they haven't totally given depression and anger and hatred or anything like that. They've kept their sense of well-being, okay? So it is a state of mind. And that's some of the things we want to discuss in this whole video series, and all the obstacles to joy. Because, how do you keep joy around a while? It's not going to be possible to just be happy all the time. I'm not trying to tell you a way of making life totally happy and you just smiling constantly or something, type idea. But you do have to look at the idea of the ego. And the ego's death is the play of grace, the blossoming of bliss, according to this saying here that I found, which makes sense. It is the ego that is telling you you don't have enough. You want more. You're jealous of somebody. Okay. you're having a horrible day. Your ego just wants to complain a lot. It wants attention. It wants a lot of attention from you. And, even though sometimes you can't control all the other aches and pains and things that are going on in life, one thing you control is your ego, which is, again, part of your consciousness, which is your state of mind. Okay? So that's what we want to look at in this series of videos on finding joy. Okay? So I hope you continue to watch some of my videos on Freedom and Love and Joy channel, and I have a website, freedomloveandjoy.com, as well. And I'd appreciate it if you support me by subscribing to my channel. And if you want to purchase one of my books, they're on Amazon.com, Transformation of Human Consciousness by Design and Freedom, Love, Joy Movement. Okay, thank you. All right, bye.